Hello, the game has started. It's my opponent to go first. I've got quite a nice rack. It's not a bingo-y rack, but I've got two of the highest scoring tiles in the J and the Z. And I have Jizz on my rack, which will leave a nice rack leave. But that may not be playable. I need to wait and see what my opponent plays. I can't see any other way of playing the J with the Z, using just the tiles on my rack. Okay. So opponent plays. And Jizz doesn't play. Well, it does through the eye of Yoi, and I'm tempted to play this because the rack leave is good, and I'm not going to bingo with a J or a Z on my rack. So Jizz for 19, an alternative would be JAI 26, 7 more points, but retaining the Z. Tempting, since the Z can then go between the O and the A. Let me take this back. So this is what I was thinking of, playing JAI here, and then my Z can go in between the O and the A, and my opponent may play underneath the J, and that spot remain available. I'm going with this. Okay, I draw another of the high scoring tiles, and my rack is now really unbalanced. So that hasn't really worked out. However, I've got Zex through the E of Uoi and Zax through the A of J. They may both be blocked. I don't have anything to go underneath the J. I've got Tix and X and Next. Not Next, I don't have an E. So I have options on the board as it stands, but they could all be blocked. However, anything which blocks may create new opportunities. I have Zinc on my rack. I had the potential for Citizens with my rack leave. That hasn't materialised. Okay, so my Zozar spot has gone. But my Nix spot remains available. Just wondering if there's anything better. So Nix for 35, and I'm hoping to draw some vowels. I draw 1, but I also draw the V. So the initial gambit of playing Jai has really not paid off at all. I have Cos and Cad, which will score quite well. Nix takes an E at the end, as well as a Y. Great, the Cos spot remains available. Opponent plays just the Y, so he could have quite a bingo-y rack. Not a lot I can do about that. Now, I think better than Cos is Dits down here for 53, and Cos would have scored in the 30s, so this is a better play. So Dits for 53. Great, I draw the first blank. The rest of the rack is a heap of junk. I think I'm going to be changing. QV is pretty much the worst pair of tiles in the bag. V and F also lack synergy. And a rack with no vowels is always a bad rack. Fortunately, I have a 50 or 60 point lead, so even if my opponent bingos, I won't be miles behind. He does bingo. However, he's also provided an opportunity with this A for me to play without changing, so I could play Calf here. I can't see a way of playing the V, which is a shame. But calf for 36 is better than changing. Wow, I draw the U and an E. So suddenly this rack is improving. I don't think it's improved enough for me to bingo. The V being the main problem, so I'm not desperate to get rid of the Q whilst I have a U to go with it. But it may well be that the best score is available by using it. Now, do I have... I was going to say squinnies. So SQU, I've got that. N. IES. Now, I don't have that. I think the score would have justified playing the blank, even though it wasn't a bingo. So, what to do with this rack? I'd really like to just play the V. But I don't see a way of doing that. But everything else on the rack is good. So, what about playing the Q somewhere? What's the best I can do? And I'm wondering if staving takes an S. I'm going to check that. I don't think it does. No, it doesn't. I have squeg. That doesn't score very much. What do I have in the way of QUO words? Nothing. Can't see anything in column 10. 16 minutes on my clock. Well, what a curious position to be in. So I can play Quinn. But that's retaining the V. It's not scoring very much. I'm just looking around at the same old spots on the board. So is there really no way to play the Q with the V? I don't think there is. This feels horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. But I can't see a way of doing anything better. Surely there must be 54 tiles left. Let me have one last think about this. So, what about playing squeg here for 30? Yeah, that feels a lot better. Now, I think Ven Dibley is good. I would need a D or an L for that. Can't see a play. Great, only 8 points for my opponent. And he burns an S, so he's probably got another 1 or 2 on his rack. Can I finally get rid of this wretched V? So I have Ivy on my rack. I could play Ivy and Nye for not very much. I've got Vinyl onto an L. I've got Viney. Nowhere for that. What about a play through the G? I have Vying. Now, do I have Bevying with 2 V's? I don't think so. Excuse me. Yes, that's good. So, I have a bingo. Bevying. Does it matter which V is the blank? I don't think it does. So bevying for 90, which is a fantastic score. Given that I was originally just looking for somewhere to play Ivy, and would probably have played it if I'd seen a candidate place. And in fact, I've just seen one now with the eye of staving. But anyway, bevying for 90. Quite a few vowels. And still quite a few vowels to come. I do have a scoring tile in the P. But I haven't seen an obvious scoring spot for it. I guess I could play P. But it would be nice to play off one more vowel. I could play épée. Maybe that plays somewhere else as well. My opponent steals my épée spot and scores just 4 points. Could be close to a bingo. But I'm 90 points ahead, so I'd like to keep powering on. And I'd quite like to play off a lot of tiles. This rack is too unbalanced to try and preserve anything. So where can I play some tiles off? What about playing through the Y? I've got AIY-EE, which has some merit, surprisingly. It stops my opponent scoring off the Y. It sorts my rack out completely. It only provides one floater, and if my opponent bingos in column 2, he'll be providing access to triple word squares. And the A is quite a useful floater for my rack. The real downside, and it's a big one, is the score, 8 points. So, am I going to bite the bullet on this? 11 minutes on my clock, 38 tiles to come. I'm just not seeing anywhere else to sort the rack out, and this certainly sorts the rack out. So, IE for 8. Okay, not great, but it's balanced. And I have scoring tiles, so I should be able to score more than 8 points this turn. Now my H and my P can go underneath the O of moose. Do I have a play? I have PHT, which is quite nice. Hangs on to my E's. So quite a good rack leave and quite a good score. Can't see anything better than that for the moment. I've got the telly prefix. Through AM, I would have pamphlet as a non-bingo. The F of calf has not offered anything yet. So at the moment, this O is the only real hot spot that I've identified on the board, and my opponent plays there, which is annoying. 49 points, good score. He's only 60 points behind now. And I had no alternative plays. Finer takes an S and a Y after it. What about playing through the A? Thrapple is good. I have no R. Well, how disappointing. That PHT was... Well, it's always disappointing when you have a good candidate move and no other move in mind. S takes an H, but I can't see plays which end in H. Apart from PEH, maybe I'll do that. Only 24 points, but the rack leaves okay, and it goes well with the A. So this doesn't feel great, but I'm going with it. I draw W and U, which is probably the pair of letters I dislike the most. However, I've got wall on my rack, so it may be possible to play both of them off. I could play that through the A of IE. I've got a 90-point lead, and wall would seriously disrupt bingo opportunities in the first two columns. I could play EEW, beginning with the E of pay, 18 points. That would split them up. I think the most dangerous spot on the board is probably column 15 for finers. Both Ys have gone, but the S was always more likely to be used for a bingo. Great. Opponent obstructs that himself. If he's got an S, he's got a selfish spot here. So what can I do about that? Well, I'm wondering about playing through the U of squeg. Well, what about doing this? Plu. It does take an S, but that's a lot less dangerous than having a bingo beginning with S. 25 points is an okay score. Rack lead pretty horrible, but only 2 A's and 1 U to come. 11 vowels out of 30 unseen tiles, so it's 2/3 consonants, which makes this rack lead better. I'm going with this. A nice balanced rack. So, yeah, 42 points for my opponent. And now columns 1 and 2 column 2 is the bingo lane. The F not particularly dangerous, but can't be ruled out completely. But it's very difficult to do something about this A. I've got a lead of about 40 or 50 points, but there's still 18 tiles to come. I'm wondering about playing something like Hun. Only 14 points. I'm thinking about author, but that sticks an O here, right next to this premium square. So what to do? Have a drink. I was just looking to see if I've got to play through the V. Well, I do. I have Nova, and that seriously disrupts the A. It leaves me with the H for scoring next turn. So I'm going with this. Wow, pretty bad. But I knew the bag was vowel light, so maybe playing off 2 vowels wasn't such a great thing to do. However, I have 1 vowel, which is fine. I'm looking to play off a lot of tiles next turn to increase my chances of drawing a vowel. Great, my opponent still trails me by 40 points. So what I could do is play Firth, which kills this bingo lane, scores 15 points, turns over 4 tiles. There's only 12 in the bag, so there'll be 8 in the bag after this. I'm going with this. Or am I? Yes, I am. Yes. Well, what about playing through the I? 6 minutes on my clock. I've got the unprefix. No, I think Firth is better. I think if I played down through the I, opponent could still play across to the triple, and Firth doesn't provide anything. Wow, I draw 4 vowels. So only 5 vowels left, with 15 tiles to come. Okay, so it's not too unbalanced. But my rack is ropey, I have no scoring tiles. And I'm 57 points in the lead. The A of IE, okay, 42 points, pretty good. I'm now only 13 points in the lead. Looking at the remaining tiles, I don't think this A is a danger. I need to score. 5 tiles left. So only my D can go after EN. So that's not a promising place. I'm looking for somewhere where I can play some O's off. I've got Donor down here. 12 points, pretty ropey. Rackleaf's fine. I think this is a board which just isn't providing scoring opportunities. I'm going with this. Okay, I can see what my opponent's got. He's only got 1 point tiles. I don't think he's got something beginning with the A. He may do. But I've got 2 scoring tiles in the K and the B, and I've got a 25 point lead. Can I hang on? Now, Ish is good. So do I have a 5-letter play ending in I? Not that I can see. Well, yes, I do. I have Brick Eye. That should help if it remains available. I have Coy and Eyed. So I'm going to be scoring 20 odd points. So Brick Eye remains available. 28 points, but I am 9 points behind, so I'm only going to be 19 points in the lead, and my opponent will get 6. He needs to score 13 with Rut to draw. Can he do that? 4 minutes on my clock. I don't think he can. This is a super tight board. He can play something like turn. That's not going to be enough. I'm just looking at the high scoring tiles on the board. Can't see anything. I'm going with this. So there's my lead, 19 points. But I'll lose 6 on count back. Can I hang on? And can I go out with Geo? I've got Go and Ode. I've got Ergo, so I can certainly go out. My opponent has got 11 minutes to try and find 13 points from this rack. Can he do it? Well, if Routish was good, that would do the job, but it isn't good. But it shows that there could be opportunities on this board that have not been considered. 13 points is not a huge amount to get. And I've got 4 minutes, so if my opponent doesn't bingo, I've got time to find the best spot for Geo. I've got Goo for 8, Go for 7, Ergo for 5. Okay, opponent does go out. And the final score, 386 to my opponent, 393 to me, a winning margin of just 7 points, so incredibly close game. Let's see what I missed. It was my opponent to go first. He's got Eulogia. Yes, he has. Misses that, plays Uoi. This was my rack. Now, I could have played Tsar and Zo for 44, Zati for 46. I've got a feeling I did something a lot worse. Jai for 26. And look at that, I could have just stuck the J above the A for 10 more points. But I was setting up a Z spot in my defence. But I think probably Tsar or Jar would have been a better play. Opponent's rack. Plays Glad. Now, do I play Zex? No, I don't. I play Nix for 35, 2 fewer points, retaining the Z. I think Zex would have been better, and I was thinking about that. Maybe it slipped my mind at the time I came to play. Opponent's rack plays J. So what did he do that from? Okay, yep. My rack. And I've got Dits for 53. And actually that might mean that Nix was better than Zex because it was setting up a super hot Z spot. Opponent's rack has staving, plays it. My rack, pretty horrendous. I was on the brink of changing until my opponent played staving. And then I had Calf for 36, which is certainly better than changing, despite keeping QV. Opponent plays Mome. And now, look at this. This is what I was thinking of. I was really disappointed that Quinn seemed to be my only play, or the best play that I could find after quite a bit of looking. But here it is on top of the pile, and then I went with Squeg, burning the S. And there's probably not a huge amount between these, but I think Squeg is a better play. But surprising there weren't more alternatives higher up in that list. Opponent has Vowels, plays Moose. Now I get super lucky with a bingo with B, V and Y, bevying. Opponent, wow, that looked bingo-y. Sani is one of the top 6-letter stems. But it didn't make a bingo, and that's why opponent plays off just the A, retaining Sani. Nice play. My rack, I've got a lot of vowels. Wow, Pieta. Underneath Moose, that would have been good. 40 points. It does take an S, but 40 points is a lot of points. What do I do? IE for 8. Yeah, Pieta a lot better. This shows the merit of analysing your games afterwards. It's amazing what you miss. Now, opponent's rack. He has bingos, Sans Serif and Seraphins and Pharanos. So, A11, Sans Serif beginning with the S, quite a difficult one to see. Seraphins is its anagram, and then Pharanos, B3, through the O. Well, all quite tricky to see. And in any event, Finer is only 20 and a bit points less and retains an S, so that's not a huge miss. Now, this was a rack I struggled with. This is when I was about to play PHT. And, gosh, Pay playable underneath Finer. That would have been better than the spot I played it in. Yeah, 10 more points. Opponent has W and U. Plays Wad. Now, did he have an S when he played that? Yes, he did. So he was setting up quite a nice S spot, which influenced my play of Plu. Opponent has Aurelia's through the A. No, through something else. H10. Through the I of staving. Okay. Misses that. Now, this was a rack I struggled with, and I didn't like this floating A. So what did I do? I played Nova, which was pretty weak given the vowel shortage. It doesn't score very much. It makes my rack vulnerable to picking consonants. Athenor was available for 36 points and would have been a better play. It does take an S, but the F stops row O being a bingo lane. Opponent's rack. He plays Callow. And now I'm only 40 points in front. And I have a pretty poor rack. And I play Firth. But look at these scores and rack leaves, they're all pretty grim. So I still quite like Firth. Opponent has this rack and has to burn his S to play furthers. But now this game is really close. I lead by 13 points. And I have this rack. Couldn't see much to do here. Mind you, do over the top of furthers is a nicer play than donor. 5 more points. But I play donor to leave 1 in the bag. Opponent has this rack. Plays matter, which was a good spot, and it puts him in the lead by 9 points. But fortunately I have Bricky for 28 and I7. Bookish also available for 29. Well, I don't think there's much to choose between those. Now finally, was 13 points available for my opponent to draw the game? Nope, turn was the only out, and that was the end of the game. So, very exciting stuff. Very close game in the finish. Quite a few mistakes during that game, but that's just the way Scrabble goes. So I hope you enjoyed watching that game, and I will see you next time.